Hey guys, Minya here. Welcome back to our playthrough of Songs of Six. When we last left our villagers, well, I've done a little bit off camera, not a whole lot. Um, so we'd set up our industrial section to get our basic goods up and running, and we're starting to build up a surplus of tools. I'll have to assign them to some different workers soon. I added a little bit of road, working our way down this way towards the new area we're going to be building, just because there's going to be a lot of back and forth here to go pick up stone and wood for supplies to build these new areas. I also put I also put doors and walls around these. I figured you really didn't need to see that, but one thing I did want to mention about doors that I found out the hard way is that they are directional, and it can be a little bit difficult to see. But so this door is going north and south, and if I hit the R button, you see how the square changes. That's east-west, that's north-south. An easier way to tell is by doing a double wide door, and so they are directional. Because I did make the mistake of trying to put a door like at a city gate, where before I knew you could expand them like that, and I would just put them down like this, and ended up with 3 doors that were all facing the wrong way. So it looked like my city was open. So anyway, so today what I want to do, like I said, I let the game run a little bit, and we've had some more people move in. Oh, I should probably show you this. So this is kind of how I do hunting. I can probably take that one out. I cleared out some of them. There were some animals kind of hanging around pretty close to the edges of my city. So what I do is I build this perimeter wall of hunting posts, and I try to do it in a way so that I'm behind the animals, so that when we go hunt them, it pushes them away. And then what I'll do is I'll expand this as the game goes on by, like, I'll drop one here, but I'll leave these guys to keep them from coming back this way. So if they do come back this way, these hunters will pick them up and chase them back out. And I found that to be pretty effective, but once you start the hunting thing, people start to die a lot more, because like I said earlier, they get injured, and once they're injured, they don't seem to recover from those injuries. They just tend to go downhill. So for now, though, what I really want to do, I want as many workers as I can get, because I'm going to be doing a lot of building, and I don't want hunters standing around out here not doing anything. So this was nice because I had my employment close to full employment, which is one of the buffs you can get, so it kind of boosted the pop a little bit for a little while. So I'm probably going to lose that buff for a little bit while I do this. But I'm just going to, I don't know why there was 4 in that one. Probably must have been a lot of animals when I set it up. So I'm just going to deactivate all these guys, so now they can be free labor or cheap labor. Yeah, so I let the rest of the stuff, it pretty much takes care of itself. So what I want to start on today is these farms and kitchen setup. Now, the whole reason why I was trying to let the game run was so that I could give this little starter pasture a chance to make some eggs, and in everything that I've done so far, it's produced a total of 3. It's kind of slow going at first, because you're going to get 2 animals in the area that you can set for this starter pasture. And there's not a lot of globdine on my map here. It's pretty far away. I really don't want to send hunters that far away on the hit or miss chance of getting eggs. I prefer to get them the more natural way, I guess is the way to say it. So, with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to start down here and get started on this stockpile, or warehouse. I don't know what game I'm thinking of that I keep calling these things stockpiles. I do like to build the warehouses first, so that when the farm starts, I'm not waiting for, because you never know, these workers, they have a mind of their own. They'll go off and do something else, or they'll fall asleep and they won't finish a building, or they'll build a road, and I don't want a field to get harvested while I'm waiting for this to build. So this is my grain farm, so this entire stockpile is going to be grain. I'm going to put 2 people in it, and I'm going to turn on fetch, because I want those 2 people to go pull all the grain out of this warehouse. So while they're doing that, we'll get our free laborers working on building the farm. Also going to start these 2 stockpiles, warehouses. I swear eventually I'll get used to saying that. So yeah, as you can see, as you're clearing this land, plenty of wood, and hopefully instead of going all the way back to the wood warehouse, they'll just grab it locally sourced. Okay, field's done. Fruit farm will be here. Don't want to start building it just yet. Okay, so same thing, 2 people. This one is fish, and I want to pull the fish out of the other warehouse, and this will be nice because it's closer to the fishing spot. Fetch. Oh, forgot to name the other ones. I do like to name them by what I have in them, for obvious reasons. When I want to find one, it's nice to know that I'm looking at fish instead of, or in this case grain, instead of warehouse number 8. Now, because I accidentally built the mushroom field as in my secondary fields there, temporary spot. I did not build a veggie field, so I'm gonna have a hard time getting the veggies started down here. As you can see, I only have 13, so I'm gonna have to probably time this one. Well, I'll just build it, and they'll fill it in when they get the veggies. Okay, generally that's far enough along for them to start on that. And up here, there's no more grain, and I don't have to fetch anymore, and now I can drop him down to 1. Did they get the fruit yet? No, they're working on it. there. And more fetch here, drop him down. Okay, this one was going to be veggies. Not that there's any veggies to fetch, but we're going to put them on fetch anyway. Excuse me. Did we get all the fish out of here? Yes, we did. So, take that off fetch. Down to 1. So, not having any food shortages is nice. And once all these fields are done, then I'll be able to take down all of the temporary ones. In fact, I usually do that right when they get harvested. So I have to try and pay close attention. This is why I play on slow game speed, because when I do it like this, time goes by so fast that you miss things. The mushroom farm is fun, and I'd like to do it last because it requires so much wood. But fortunately, we have a ton of it just laying around. Now, I've been seeing the chat that's going on in the Discord about exposure to the elements and stuff, and I tend to not build the dormitories, and well, I will get the clothes going before I build dormitories, so I always let these guys sleep outside. I never give them a place to live, at least, well, I shouldn't say never, not for a while. I get all my industries and my food resources and everything up first, and then I start worrying about where they live. So once these are harvested, we don't need them anymore, and if I keep them around, I'll end up getting too much food in my storage over here on my big field, and then I end up with food rotting in the fields. And so this way, I've now cut down on the long journey from these fields over to this warehouse. Let me just slow it down. Is that a veggie field? No, that was the old grain farm. This was the veggie field that... Okay. I do not need any more. Make sure the new field was fully planted before I get rid of that one. And I'll have to do the same with the mushrooms. Oh, we're up to 11 eggs. We're getting close. We'll be able to expand that pretty soon. Still building that. So I can't take down these temporary fields because I probably won't have enough mushrooms by the time this is done being built to get that field started. So I might have to go one more season on mushrooms. Excuse me. No, it looks like I had enough. Excellent. Now, the nice thing about the mushroom field is it creates a building that you have to get rid of too. All out of here yet? Almost. Yep. Ah, let me put more in. Okay. Alright, so that is all the vegetable fields planted and the fish. So we have this pasture left. Now what I could do is go ahead and build this and then let them fill in the eggs over time. But that requires 84 eggs and we're at 11. Yeah, that is paused. Okay. So what I tend to do instead, I've got 11 eggs in storage. That gets me 5 livestock. Trying to get the... Okay, that's 10. I gotta be careful if I do this wrong. Okay, I don't want to go to 11 because it risks messing things up, so we'll just go with that. And so we'll get more animals in this base one, and that'll get the count going up a little quicker. What did I do? Did I build that and not save it? I did, didn't I? So 84 eggs is what we need. Oh. And this is the only one that differs from the crop fields in that you only have the one in and out point, so your distance to your storehouse is short. You got to go in through the gate and then work your way around the field. So I don't know that you really save anything by using this design, but it's just consistent. And it works. So let me slow it down here and take a breath. This is going to be meat. Let's see. Over here, I don't have any meat. So I'll just get rid of that. And I hope I spell this right. Okay, that should be good enough. Then what I'll do is I'll build a... Should have set this up before. So you'll need pelts for your fabric industry, and pelts and fabric together is what's used by the tailor to make clothes. So I'll set up a storage here that I'm going to put pelts and fabric in, and then we'll set up the production chain from the weaver on down to get fabric, get the weaver right next to this so that we can get fabric straight from the weaver into here. And then we'll put the tailor up this way and probably a second tailor here eventually. It seems like I can never make clothes fast enough to keep my population clothed well enough. But again, the idea is to do it small and to satisfy that need just a little bit so that your population only grows a little bit at a time. And that lets you stay ahead of the problems before they become problems. Okay. Go ahead and build that. So yeah, you can see there. They moved the eggs. Oh, that's right, I expanded the farm. I'm probably not going to expand this any more than this. So I'm going to go ahead and enable this to get built. Just so it's done. And then they can sit there, and as they create eggs out of here, they'll just bring them over here. Now you can see I've got some battle gear available to me. I'm going to do the kitchens and the taverns, but not quite yet because I don't want my population to get pushed over 100. A lot of people are dying. I do not want the population to get over 100. I don't want to get that first raid until I actually have some military. So I'm going to go ahead and actually build my training ground now. And I'm going to go into this army tab, and what I like to do is I want one division. So you get 4 by default. I just want one division, but I want them trained to the max amount that they can possibly train, and I'm going to give them all one piece of battle gear. Now the thing is, this is going to create 24 slots, and what will happen is anybody that doesn't have a job, excess population, so 12, it would basically try to fill all 24 of these slots, and you'd find that there's not enough workforce for the amount of jobs available. So as soon as this is done, I'm going to lower this to like 5 and just let a few people get started training. Now for me, food is the eternal struggle in this game. So I tend to not set this policy. I tend to not increase rations, just because I'd rather have a surplus than if I up the rations. I've done it a couple times. I've increased the rations. First of all, if you do it before you have a kitchen, it doesn't do anything. you can set it to 2 or 2.25 or something like that, and this bar will not change when they're eating raw food. It only goes up when you have a kitchen providing meals, and then you'll get a buff for that, as well as the food preference buff that you get from the kitchen for having a variety of meals. But I would rather not, even once I set the kitchen up, I would rather not increase rations even if I have a surplus, because eventually I'm not going to have a surplus. And the longer I can go building other things and doing other things without having to build another one of these, the happier I am. So the citizens can suffer through one meal a day. I know it's probably devastating, but hey, that's all I ever eat is one meal a day. So yeah, set that back to 5. Get some guys training. And I'm going to go ahead and build the kitchen. Now, I laid out the taverns, but I'm not going to build them yet. So the people will come in when your cooks are in here preparing meals for them. They'll just come right into the kitchen and eat. And I laid that out backwards. But they'll eat right off the storage table. They don't need to go sit in a tavern. Now that starting stone area is I probably need to move a quarry somewhere else because there wasn't a whole lot of rock there. So we're at 83 right now. Well, 85 reputation. Okay, I wanted 6. So now we're starting to make some meals. Makes everybody happy. We'll be happier once we get some meat. But it climbs a little bit. If I had meat, it would climb a little more because we'll get the food preference, and that'll go up a little bit as people discover that, hey, there's a kitchen here with food I can eat. Although sometimes, if they're hanging out down here working in the smithy, they'll just walk out here to the grain storehouse because it's closer. It's a little goofy. Oh, and the only other thing that I did that I didn't tell you about was I built a couple more berry patches because this one got full, and they will empty out over time by themselves, but you have to have enough plots to account for the deaths and give enough time in between those deaths for them to empty out. Eventually I'll have to build a larger cemetery, but these little ones, they suffice for the beginning. And then the only other thing I want to do, if I see I'm over 100 reputation now, so I've got some people that I can put back into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Because as you can see, the animals were starting to encroach again because I let the wall down, and they see now a couple of them got past me. So what they tend to do, where'd they go? I don't know where they went. I saw a couple of them get past this little screen. Yeah, so if the hunter scares them into this area and then they find grass to nibble on in here, they'll just kind of stay in here and terrorize your citizens. So yeah, I try to avoid that if I can. I'm up to 96 Reputation's up to 115. I should be getting rated fairly soon, or at least hear about it, so we'll save that for the next episode. So yeah, that's how we get started on our main food supplies. And like I said, once we get to 250, 300 pop, then I'll have to set up another one of these somewhere else. And what I want to do is I want to set it up like in a different corner or whatever, so that when they're working in different areas, they have a choice of which direction is closer to them to go. So that's it for this video. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I'd be happy to share. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.